Namaskar, everybody. Thank you for joining in today from Monday Darshan. Let's come to that peaceful, loving space as we begin this working week. Great to have your company. So wonderful. Good morning here from Trinidad and Tobago. I welcome you as my own self. No different. You are myself. That same pure consciousness within me is within you. The same possibilities that exist within me exist within you, in the inner sense. And now I want to continue from my yesterday's message, and I hope that all of you who were here would have seen yesterday's message, seen and heard. I took a different spin to seeking, because we're all seeking. We're seeking more peace in our lives, more happiness, more love, more understanding. Some of us more wealth, some of us more recognition, more power. We're all seeking for something or the other. We are seekers, and we are seekers because we feel that we are lacking. But yesterday I said, let's look at it from another space, from another angle, from another view, that there's a greater power inside of us that is really seeking, driving us to evolve. That evolutionary force is at work within us. No matter what we do, this evolutionary power is pushing us to grow, to want more, to seek more, to know more, to achieve more, to be recognized more, to be more worthy. And why is that divine power seeking? It is seeking because it has all of this potential capped up, chained up, imprisoned, sleeping. And though it is completing itself, it needs to come back to that experience of its own completeness. So though the center of our existence is complete in itself when we experience it, we need to live from there. We need to come back there. We need to recognize that we are there. And in a deeper sense, we are already where we want to go. We just are not aware of it. So can we begin this day in a greater understanding that our seeking is coming from a deeper space within, and we need to make some connection with that deeper energy or deeper force that is seeking, and that is what is important. How do we connect with that evolutionary power? How do we begin to understand that evolutionary power? How do we begin to understand its drive? And how do we align to that? Because when we do, everything flows. And when we don't, when we are misaligned to that evolutionary drive within us, then there is so much conflict and misery and heartaches in the space. So how do we align ourselves to that evolutionary drive inside of us? How do we give attention to it? How do we work with it? So it's important to understand all that you are, all that features in the inner space, all the tools you have for deeper understanding, deeper processing, deeper ability or stronger ability or more able to understand self and manifest self in all of its beauty. How do we do that? And that is where the joy comes. The joy of uncovering all that we are, the joy of knowing all that we are, and the fulfillment that comes when we are aligned to that process of seeking and finding, of seeking and uncovering. So there you have the mental process of reasoning that can help you in the search. How are we using the reasoning faculty? How are we using the ego faculty? Because the ego is an instrument in the play. The self that we generate, the persona, that is an instrument in the play. So we can transform who we think we are. We can transform that. We can transform that from being negative to positive, or being proactive rather than passive, being investigative rather than just accepting. So we can change our attitudes. We can change the way we think. And it's beautiful when we can explore different ways of thinking, and use those that help us to evolve and grow and learn more. Yeah, so the idea is to begin to recognize that there's a greater power. So in everything that you do, in every process that you engage in, the idea is to acknowledge that there is a greater power within you. And do you do that? Do you acknowledge there's a greater power? And do you say to that greater power, guide me, lead me from the darkness into the light, lead me? So do we surrender in a way as we do things, searching for the support of that greater power? Or do we just take action based on our own personal beliefs and opinions? Or do we hold our opinions and thoughts in abeyance whilst we are contemplating and looking for guidance from a different space? And then when we look for guidance from a different space, do we open up our space to not hold on to anything firmly, any beliefs, but open up our space to possibilities? So we may not believe in something, but we can hold it as a possibility. Not to believe or disbelieve, but to hold as a possibility until we see that it is more than a possibility. And I always say you don't need to believe anything. You explore, experiment until you begin to experience. So when you look around you, when I look at nature around me, how can I not think that there is some greater power at work? How can I not think when I look at the celestial, when I look at the earth and the heavens, when I look at nature and all of the life forms, how can we not think that there is a greater power at work? How can we not think that there is a greater power at work? And that greater power is not only manifesting outside of us, but inside of us as well. And how can we appreciate that it is the power behind thought and behind emotion and behind reasoning and behind visualizing? And it is the same power that's manifesting in the creation, sustenance, and dissolution of the universe around us. Transformation and change. So let's take a moment today, on this Monday, to appreciate that. Let's come into that silent space where we can connect with life itself. Let's begin to acknowledge as we begin this week that there's a greater power at work, and I want to connect with this power. I want to appreciate this power. I want to experience this power within me, as part of me, as my source. I want to know this power. And how can we do this in a meaningful way? Of not feeling stressed because we may not recognize it, but being moved by the possibility. When we look at nature, when we look at the heavens, when we look at the universe, let us acknowledge that there is a greater power at work. And when we look at ourselves deep inside and the power that we can wield from inside, the power to construct, the power to destroy, the power to support, let's respect these energies that are greater than us and our capabilities at the moment. And let us seek to understand, appreciate, and experience. So as you go through this day and you go through the activities of your week, begin to acknowledge the greater power at work. And when you pray, or you make a wish, to see it at work, the miracles will happen just before your eyes. And you will see that a greater power is looking over you, after you, taking care of you, protecting you. There's a greater power at work. If only you seek it. If only you seek its assistance. You'll be able to see the magnificence of your magical world. Where you can make things happen just by a wish. If your wish is sincere and you're deserving. And try to be more deserving. You cannot experience good fortune if you don't share and create good fortune for others. You cannot experience deep love if you yourself don't open yourself to be loving to others. Be a part of the flow. Open your hands to give, and your hands will be open to receive. That's my wish for you on this Monday. That you begin to give attention to that greater power within you that is pushing you to evolve. That you learn to align to its evolutionary drive and to recognize it. To be able to appreciate its grandeur as you observe life around you and you begin to be grateful for the opportunity to tap into a greater power behind every thought, emotion, action. That you can navigate through this world with wisdom and adventure, and that you can achieve your life purpose, the purpose for which you came into this world. So join me in affirmative prayer, where prayer becomes an affirmation. O infinite self, within me and around me, manifesting within me and around me, the source of my existence and the source of all existence. I center myself in your being. I acknowledge your presence and greatness within me and in the universe around me. It's real. I pray that you will open up my understanding, that I can see and appreciate you in every aspect of life. Help me to align to your evolutionary drive and in display. Help me to learn and grow and evolve in alignment to your will. Guide my every thought, my every action, my every word. That I be a blessing to your world, that I be a light. I give thanks for all the blessings you've afforded me in this human experience. And I pray to continue to stay in alignment to you. That your will be my will in this human experience. Thank you, Infinite One. I love you, I praise you, I thank you. Peace, peace, peace. So this brings us to the end of this session, but not the end of the experience. May it continue with you. May grace be with you. May the blessings of the universe be upon you. And may you in every moment be able to experience the depth of the presence of the Divine within you and around you. Have a blessed day, everyone. Namaskar.